friends, and welcome back to my channel and to another video. And this video, oh my god, I wanted to record this like the instance that I ordered this palette, but I live in Sweden, and even though I ordered on the pre-order, this is the fastest I could record this video, so sorry about that. Maybe you saw already 1,000 videos about this, so I thought I'd do it a bit different, and I am gonna talk about this palette, I'm gonna swatch it, and I'm also gonna swatch similar colors to the ones that are unique to this palette, so you can know which other shades you could get if you couldn't get your hand on this one. I don't know if they're gonna restock it. I think they might be restocking it again because the demand was so high. I'm also gonna talk about something in this palette that I wasn't that fond about and how I personally would have fixed it if I was the one designing this palette. But I'm not, Manny is. But if you are not following Manny on social media, like what are you doing with your life? I will link both Makeupgeek and Manny down below so you can follow them, because if you aren't and you're watching this video, I don't know, I don't think that's not very likely. So anyways, I will link them down below, but probably that's not the order it goes. But this is the way the palette looks. Manny designed this palette together with Makeupgeek. I don't know exactly how much it is because, I mean, I paid in my currency, so I don't really know. But I think it was like $45 or something like that. Don't quote me. But you get 9 eyeshadows, and Manny designed a couple of them for himself. This one, which is Artemis, and also this one that is Luna, and this one that is Sora, and this one that is Mars, and this one that is Aphrodite. If you want to see like his thought behind this palette and all of these shadows, I will link the video where he explains this palette, because that makes more sense than me doing it for him. He did such a good job doing it, so why should I? But just letting you know, this one that is Beaches and Cream is already a shadow within Makeupgeek's line, so you could get this one yourself. This one is Cosmopolitan, you could get this as well. Also this one, which is Frappe, and this one that is Insomnia, right? Yeah, this is a loose pigment with Makeupgeek, so getting it in a pan like a pressed pigment, this would be the only way. This one and this one is one of those foil shadows. So normally these are $10 each and the other ones are $6 each. But you can't get the shadows that Manny designed himself as like pans, singles outside this palette. That's why I wanted to show you some like alternatives if you want to get a look of these shades anyways. But let's start out by swatching them so you can see what they look like, and I will go through them like one on one, and I will explain which colors I think would be similar to these colors if you were to get them like as singles. So let's start with this one. This is the light one, and it is Artemis, and it is a really pale gold highlight, and I will swatch this shadow next to 2 different colors so you can see like how they look. This one, I live in the city, so I have to live with that. This is Shimma Shimma by Makeupgeek. And as you can see, Artemis is actually not that shimmery and soft as Shimma Shimma, but it is a bit more gold. But I wanted to also switch it next to Nylon from MAC, because that is so similar both in color and in texture. So if you want to get Artemis, just get Nylon. They are pretty much the same shade. I will show you. You see how Nylon, the one in the bottom, is so similar to Artemis, which is the one in the middle. It's like crazy similar. Next color is Beaches and Cream, and it's just a peachy beige transition color. I wouldn't say it's nothing special, but it's just a beigey transition color, to be honest. Next color is Luna, and it is one of the colors that Manny did together with Makeupgeek, and it is a foil shadow, and he said that this was a mix between In the Spotlight and Grandstand from Makeupgeek, which are also foil shadows. So this is supposed to be a peachier, pinkier version of Grandstand, and I actually have those 2 shadows as well, so I will swatch them for you so you can see the similarities. But this is Luna and it is a really pretty color. Let me swatch the other two next to it so you can see. This is Grandstand and this is In the Spotlight. And let's be honest here, Luna, this is Luna and this is Grandstand. They are pretty much the same color. I know he said he tweaked them a bit, but it's pretty much the same color. It really is. I mean, they are basically the same color. And when you put them on the lid, you are not gonna see any difference at all. At all. Next color in the palette is Cosmopolitan. And Cosmopolitan is a color that you can buy as a single from Makeupgeek. And it is like a peachy rose goldy color, and it is a really nice duochrome, like a peachy rosé gold color. It is really pretty, and if you like this color, just get it as a single from Makeupgeek. I actually only had one of the colors that was in the palette since before, and this color I didn't have, so I'm really happy this was in the palette because it's gorgeous. Next color in the palette is one of the colors that Manny did together with Makeupgeek. It is called Sora, and it is a matte orangey color, not bright orange, but it's definitely like an orangey clayey color. And if you look closely, you can see some specks of shimmer in there, but it comes off totally matte. And I love transition colors in this kind of color. It is really smooth and nice. But actually I own a color that's really similar to this one, and it is the burnt orange matte, my bad, from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And as you can see, these colors are really similar, and I'll swatch them next to each other so you can see actually how similar they are to each other. So this is the Anastasia one, and I mean there are some differences in like the colors. This one is a bit more orangey, and actually this one is a bit creamier. But when you blend these in the crease, you are not gonna see that much of a difference, let's be honest. So if you want to get a similar color to Sora, the Burnt Orange Matte by Anastasia Beverly Hills is a pretty good match. Next color in the palette is Frappe, and this is a color you could get as a single from Makeupgeek, so you don't have to have the palette to get this color. And actually Frappe is one of the favorite colors I have from Makeupgeek. I think this is beautiful and I already own it, so this is like a double for me. And it is a neutral light brown. This is a perfect color to put in your crease after you put your transition color. And I usually, if I do somewhat of a neutral crease, I'll do creme brulee and then I'll do this one after. That's really pretty. But I have one problem with this palette, and it actually is this color, and I'll show you why. If you look at this palette, these three colors are too similar to me. This one is a new color to Makeupgeek, so I think this is a perfect color, but I don't know why he put this color here. If you watch Manny's channel a lot, you know that he's known for his like rosy neutral eyes. He often works with pinks, and he has pink creases, and well, basically 90% of all of his looks are pink neutral eyes. So why aren't there any pinks in this palette? This one, if you shear it out, will become a bit of a raspberry, and this one has a bit of a pinky undertone, and this one has a bit of a pinky undertone. So why isn't this color the color he put in? Let's try and put it in. This is Cupcake by Makeupgeek. This is a color that already exists. If you put this color in here instead of the Frappe one, because he just had to pick his favorites, this palette would make even more sense. You could do a bold like nighttime look with both rosy or warm tones. You could do a rosy neutral eye, you can do a warm neutral eye. There's so many more things you could do with this palette if this color was a pink color instead. So if this was my palette, which it isn't, and it wouldn't look like this at all, because this palette is beautiful, but I mean, if you picked your own colors, you pick something totally different. But if I could switch up one color, I'd switch the Frappe for Cupcake. It makes a lot more sense. Let me know down below if you are thinking like me, or if you don't agree at all. I mean, I love the color Frappe, but Cupcake would make more sense. sorry. And this is just a close-up of the color Frappe. It is a really nice neutral brown. I actually really love this color, so I'm not mad at it that this is in the palette, but I would prefer Cupcake. Next color in the palette is Insomnia as a pressed pigment, and this is a duochrome with like a warm base and a teal green like shimmer or shift to it, and it is super creamy like every of these foil shadows are. I love the foil shadows, and it's got a super cool shift, and I really like that he put this color in, because all of the beauty gurus, they're like, oh my god, warm neutrals, warm neutrals, warm neutrals, and I'm happy he put something in that's a bit of a pop so the palette doesn't fall flat. And even though Insomnia isn't my absolute favorite color in this palette, it is definitely up there because it is such a cool color. And like I said before, you could get this color at Makeupgeek without getting the palette, but then you'll get it as a pigment. So this is a pressed form, so that is a bit new for the palette, which is cool. But you could get it as pigment instead, and you'll get the same payoff, just requires a different technique. The next color in the palette actually is my favorite color in the palette, and it is the color that I'm having on my eyes today, amongst with some others here. And if you want to see how I achieved this look, it will be the video coming up after this one. So just subscribe to my channel and you will see when that's coming up. And I used this color amongst others. And this is Mars, and this is one of the colors that Manny did together with Makeupgeek, and it is such a cool color, and I love that this is like a deep red but with a raspberry undertone, so if you sheer it out a bit, it will be a bit of a pinky tone, and I mean that really translates to his style, and I think it's such a cool color. And Makeupgeek doesn't have a color like this in their selection right now. I will swatch this next to Bitten so you can see like how different those two are, but it is a really cool color. But I actually have some other colors in my collection that resembles this color, and I will show you so you can see, because if you didn't get this palette, if you can't get it, I mean, the race is not over, you could still get a nice red color. This color feels a bit dry when you touch it, but it's only because there's so much pigment in it. There's no problem at all working with this color, so you shouldn't be alarmed at all because of how it feels when you swatch it. It has nothing to do with how it feels working with it. Does it make sense? This is Bitten by Makeupgeek, and let's be honest, this looks more like this color than this color. This is the reddest color that Makeupgeek offers right now. Get lost. And it is not that red at all compared to Mars, and I will show you how they like look next to each other. So this is Bitten. And as you can see, Mars is such a, well, more vibrant and red color next to like Bitten. So if you have Bitten, don't feel like you don't need the palette to get Mars, because Mars is a totally different color. But I do have some colors that I want to show you that look pretty similar. This is Love Plus by Sugar Pill, and this is a really bright red. And as you can see, this is even more of a red than Mars is by Makeupgeek. I also have Lovesick by Melt. This is sold in a stack, and this is more resembling that color. So I am pretty sure that this color, the Lovesick by Melt, is the one he had in mind when he created the Mars one. But Mars one is a bit more red than Lovesick, to be honest. Maybe I can switch those two together. Wait, let me do that. Just need to clean this up a bit. So I'm taking Lovesick, and I'm gonna switch Love Plus over it. See what kind of color I can get. Just look at this color right here. Isn't this like exactly the same color? So if you have both Lovesick and Love Plus, you could get the exact color of Mars, and that is quite comforting for me because I love Mars, and seeing this makes me understand that even though I might run out someday, I will still be able to make this color. Really nice. Love this color, such a great job. So this is how the colors look. I hope you can see all of them. The one swatch on the side is Love Plus and Lovesick like matched together, blended together, and it creates a color that really looks like Mars, let's be honest. quite cool. I love this color and I love red eyeshadow. If you've been on my channel for like just the smallest amount of time, you will know my passion for red eyeshadow. Oh, love it. Okay people, we are down to the last shadow of the palette, and this is Aphrodite. It is one of the colors that Manny created together with Makeupgeek, so you cannot get this color anywhere else than in this palette. And it is a dark brown with a bit of a plummy undertone. That's how it's described. But just looking at it, it's dark brown. Pretty much, that's it. And it feels really nice and creamy. It feels like a normal Makeupgeek shadow and it's really pigmented. And it is a pretty color. But I actually have two shadows that I think are pretty similar to it. It is Deep Plum by Anastasia Beverly Hills and Americano by Makeupgeek. And I will swatch both of them so you can see, well, if you think they're similar or not. I will say the texture of Deep Plum by Anastasia Beverly Hills are goals. It is such a good color. I will swatch Americano on the top and Deep Plum on the bottom. And Deep Plum is crazy pigmented. Actually, I must say, Americano doesn't swatch that good. Stop messing with me. So these are the colors. This is Americano. If you already own this color by Makeupgeek, you don't need Aphrodite as well. They're pretty much the same, although I will say Aphrodite is a bit creamier, I'll be honest. But they are pretty much the same color. This one, Deep Plum by Anastasia, is the best of all of them, and they are pretty similar in color. The only difference is that the Deep Plum is actually more pigmented and more creamy, so... oh god, I love this color so much. But Aphrodite is a really pretty color. It's what I have in my outer V today, and yeah, I think it complements this palette good. I'm happy he didn't put a matte black in here because we already have so many matte blacks. I love using a dark brown for my outer crease instead. Although I do love a black, but don't use black that much. Should I use black more? Let me know if you want me to use black eyeshadows more, because I just never do that. This is how the shadows look, and as you can see, all three of them are, well, pretty similar. Can't lie. So that was it folks. I swatched the whole palette and I told you like my thoughts about every color and what I would change about the palette if I could, and I also showed you some similar colors to the ones that are unique for this palette. All in all, I love this palette. I think it's beautiful. I'm so happy I got it. It's well worth the money. Money well spent. And I really hope Makeupgeek will do more palettes with other people like in the future. What beauty guru would you like to see do a palette with Makeupgeek? For me, I would love to see Nikki Tutorials do a palette with Makeupgeek. I'm sure she would kill it. I mean, kill it. Other than that, have any questions? I love this palette. If you're on the fence about this palette and it comes back in stock again, I mean, I'd advise you to get it because I think it's amazing. I did film this look, so if you want to see how I achieved this look, just hit the subscribe button down below and that will be the next video coming up after this one. I will also do a more of a daytime look with this palette. Maybe I'll even use Cupcake instead of Frappe to show you what I actually meant with putting Cupcake in the palette instead of Frappe. Would you like to see that? There's a lot of questions for me now, but I just love reading your comments. Thank you so much for commenting and liking. I feel like you're my friends. Thank you for being here. Until next time, bye!